Well, so we're like doing the follow-up on the trip then, kind of thing.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I know this was your first trip, Nick, to basically do a mission trip, and definitely your first trip to Brazil, South America. We had some cool experiences, but I've been itching to hear, more. Just how was it for you? What was it like going there and getting to do what we did?
No, it was great. I mean, getting to meet all the people, how receptive they were of us, how friendly they were, getting to see how the government in Kotodais worked, how like God and the ministry were interwoven with the infrastructure and how they did things down there was awesome. I think the highlights of the trip for me were definitely the 2 times I gave my testimony. The first time in the church and then again in the boat, being able to tell my story to the congregation, and everybody was receptive and they loved it, and it was great.
It was so awesome to get to be part of that, just knowing the story of how you got there.
Yeah.
Not only how God provided for you to go on the trip, but even originally having family connections in South America and hearing more of your story. I think it was exciting for them to hear, because we were teaching the people how important their story is, how everybody's story is important. And I love to always think about, the intersection of my story, your story, and his story. That's divine appointment. When we recognize, hey, God's part of this story, and we're part of his story. And it's just exciting to realize that. And I thought it came out in so many ways.
Absolutely. Yeah, all throughout the trip. For me, my story was just something that I kind of internalized and kept to myself, maybe told a couple friends and family, but on this trip, I mean, it became a tool for me to be able to go to Brazil and give testimony.
Well, people really related the fact that when you shared, not having your dad in your life, and the fact that he, unfortunately had to go to prison, and the struggles that caused your family to go through.
Absolutely.
Being under-resourced, and then having a Latino culture that you grew up in America. And so, yeah, just the whole thing of kind of being a man without a country and without a dad, and just all those different things, and the struggles and the battles, and what a part your faith, your brother taking you in and connecting you with God, and just the part that played. It was amazing.
Absolutely. Yeah, it seemed to resonate with people. I had plenty of people coming up to me afterwards telling me that it struck a chord with them.
It's really cool to me how the Go paradigm came in, how Paul challenging you to come in the first place. You're like, I don't have any money, and I love that the night that we were in the church and you're telling your story, and then Paul jumps in and talks about how he challenged you. Your story is important, and you need to just take that step of faith. And we started talking about the Go paradigm. And isn't it true? We immediately disqualify ourselves. Well, I could never do that, or I can't afford that, or and we can make excuses and give reasons why we can't. And it was so exciting, not only how people partnered with you and sent you, but how that story was so relevant there. And we got to talk about the Go paradigm, that whenever God tells you something, don't talk yourself out of it. Just take the next step. Take a step. Take a step of faith and go for it. And how God meets us. And I love that part of your story, and the response of the people. Say something about that. That was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, the Go paradigm, it paid off, tremendously, had I not taken that step of faith. Like you said, I was so hesitant to even attempt to try to go on this trip. But, through you, through Paul, through God, just taking that step, believing in the Go paradigm, within a month.
And you had people that were classmates or friends, but even people you didn't really know.
Yeah.
That stepped up and supported you, right?
Absolutely. People,
amazing.
the majority of them,
thank you,
never.
all you people, wherever you are, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
You made an investment in his life that not only impacted him, but impacted the people. I'll never forget that people were cheering in the church when he looked at them and said, here I am. I took the step of faith, and God did it. Here I am. And it's one thing to tell people nothing is impossible for those who believe, or that God is for you, God will help you. It's one thing to say that, but then to be able to say, here I am. I did something that was impossible, and I'm here in front of you guys telling you right now, and I come from a background like yours, and here I am. And that's like, you were like living proof to them. They got excited, they clapped. What did that make you feel like?
No, it made me feel great. Normally I'm not really into public speaking, but after the first testimony, when we did the second testimony on the boat, I felt like give me that microphone. I
Yeah,
felt excited to
hospital
share
boat.
my story.
We had church with like 50, 60 people on the top of a boat. It was amazing. Yeah.
Absolutely. And you know, like my story and sharing my story was key to me raising the resources to be able to go to Brazil. And then when I was there, my story was key to doing my testimony, to making those connections that we made with the congregation. And that was just incredible, man.
It was. And one of my favorite things was when the pastor there, when she heard the challenge and heard the story, it was like we put gasoline on her fire. She got so fired up because she's a lawyer who's also a pastor. Her husband is a medical doctor who's also a mayor, and they have integrated political leadership, medical leadership, spiritual leadership, social work. They've integrated all of that, and they have this team. They have meals together, they have devotions together, and they're taking their city and their county to a whole other place. They're changing that rural part of the Amazon in amazing ways, and they got so excited because they know it's true. And she just got all over it, told the people, what's your excuse? What God has told you? You know, just take the step, take the step. Don't make excuses. Just step up and bring what you have and do what you can and give what you, offer whatever you have to God and to your neighbors. And you know, like I always say, let's come together or we'll come apart, you know? Let's come together and take the step of faith. It's amazing what God will do. So all you people that supported us, whether it was Nick or myself or Paul or my wife or anybody on the team, you're part of this story. And that's the cool thing, you guys. We're part of his story. He's part of our story. And he works everything together for good. So until this story's got a great ending, we're not there yet. So whatever we're going through right now, it's temporary. And it's so cool to get to be part of this. And thank you for saying yes, bro.
Hey, man. Yeah, thanks for having me.